Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to Kilachari Torah's daily review of Maimonides, Rambam 613 Mitzvot, Sefer HaMitzvahs for Tuesday, August 24th. This being the 2 weeks now leading up to Rosh Hashanah, we are sounding the shofar every day as a little spiritual alarm clock, a wake-up call to get us doing what we need to do in preparation for the high holidays. We've been speaking the last few days about laws of marriage, chuppah v'kiddushin, the mitzvah to be fruitful and multiply, and so on. We spoke about yibum and chalitza, when God forbid someone passes away without children, the obligation upon the extended family to try to continue his name. We get in with the next few mitzvahs, we get into sort of the reverse side, the negative side of interpersonal relationships, particularly between men and women. Positive mitzvah number 218 in the Rambam's listing of mitzvot, of positive mitzvahs, is that a rapist is compelled to marry the woman he's violated, the nara me'urasa. This is what the Torah prescribes as out of concern for the welfare, in other words, the upkeep, the well-being, the maintenance and sustenance of the woman. Of course, at the same time, the Torah allows any woman to decline any prospective partner in marriage. We saw that with relationship to yibum, to the when a husband passes away without children, the obligation from the Torah's perspective to marry the brother and have children with him. Of course, the woman has a right to refuse that, and here in this case also. And this is discussed in the 3rd and 4th chapters of Tractate Ketubot. The moitzi shemra of a kala, someone who this is the next mitzvah, someone who defames his wife, a person that the woman that he's married, he also has an added obligation. He's not allowed to divorce her. He's got to stay with her all of his days. Of course, again, we get into the rabbinic permissions for them to separate as a separate conversation. The laws of the seducer, someone who enters into an illicit relationship with a single girl, also has a certain amount of damages that he's got to pay. In last week's Parsha, mitzvah number 221 came up, Yes, in last week's Parsha we had the Eshes Yifas Toar, the law of a captive woman in times of war. There's a certain set of guidelines we learned from Tractate Kiddushin that relate to how war brides are allowed to be taken, what certain processes have to be gone through, and so forth. Positive mitzvah number 222 is the law of divorce, the mitzvah of get, divorce through a beit din, duly convened to do that, who has to be expert in all the laws of gittin and divorce and so on. So this is not a mitzvah where we're running out necessarily to do it, to try to fulfill it, but rather if God forbid such an event arises that a couple who's married needs to get divorced, so the mitzvah is to do it in such a process, to use a beit din and to write a proper get as described in its entire tractate called Gittin. Speaking of tractates all on their own, the law of a suspected adulteress, the sota, positive mitzvah 223 in the Rambam's enumeration, is when a woman is suspected of having illicit relationships with someone else, a married woman, with a person who's not her husband, the process and procedure that's gone through there. Okay, so that is a conclusion of the section of issues, of discussions of positive mitzvahs between men and women. We'll see, I think, a little bit more detail when we get to the prohibitions, the negative mitzvahs in the second part of the Rambam's listing there. Okay, so we'll leave it there for today, and we will continue with these tomorrow. Have a good day.